Okay, we're recording.
Hi everyone, this is Belle from the Cruise and Travel Store, and today we have a very special guest, Mark Richards from Carnival Cruise Line, who we are so excited to talk to. And yes, I am in our new building, which is due to open on Sunday, which we are super excited about. But welcome, Mark. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Belle, and thanks for really a big honour to be on the session today. And I'm really excited to kind of have a chat to you about some of the cool things that we have coming up with Carnival. And congratulations on the new store. It looks great. Belle kind of gave me a quick little show around before, so very, very exciting stuff coming up.
It is, and thank you so much for your time today. Obviously, we are so privileged to have you on board with us. On board, no pun intended. So there's heaps going on with Carnival, and so many people are coming by our kiosk talking about the changes with Carnival. So I guess we'll start with, what are the newest and most popular things going on with the Australian Carnival fleet at the moment?
Yeah, look, it's perfect timing right now, Belle, because we've got two of our new ships that are based down. They're down in Melbourne at the moment. They're in what we call a wet dock, and I'll touch on them in a sec. But where Carnival's going through its biggest brand evolution here in Australia, we've seen since we arrived, and that's delivering 4 times the fun to the Australian traveller, which we're really excited about. And that's 4 times, basically 4 ships in the Australian market, 3 year round and 1 remaining seasonally with Luminosa. So we've got a lot going on in our world. We're kind of right in the mix of things. Officially, the 2 new ships, Carnival Encounter and Carnival Adventure, sail under the Carnival flag this Saturday. So we're well in the true and thick of things at the moment. We've got, as I mentioned before, Carnival Encounter and Carnival Adventure down in Melbourne at the moment, and they're getting a lot of kind of technical work done to them. So a lot of IT systems and software developments and a lot of things that are a lot behind the scenes, as well as the Carnival on the Funnel has just been added yesterday. So for any of you guys in Melbourne, if you go down to the pier down there, you'll be able to see Station Pier. You'll be able to see the ships down there with the new logo on it, and we've got the new so we've got the sailing stars on the hull as well, which is something we did. Bringing the emerging brand with the P&O brand into Carnival, we're able to keep a lot of those time-honoured kind of traditions that are still there and show the reflection to both businesses that they are. So some really exciting things happening in our space at the moment.
So as far as the transition between P&O to Carnival, what do they differ in terms of onboard experiences, do you think? What are the main differences the consumer will see?
Yeah, definitely. And that's been the biggest thing we've got. The great thing about Carnival is we've got 29 ships in our fleet, and all 29 ships are slightly different. Some have different restaurants, some have different roller coasters on board. So there's no difference here in Australia. The ships will be a little bit different, but what we're talking about is, there's a huge portion of the population that love and adore the P&O brand. So it's like the ships will have red threads, which is what we call them. So the Carnival red threads, and that's like things like the Fun Hub app, which is a great innovation in making accessibility to restaurant bookings and getting around and being able to see what's happening on board.
That is so easy to use. I've been on board myself, and it is just such an easy process. So that's very exciting that the 2 new ships will have the Carnival Hub app.
And they're very innovative too. That's one thing we're developing a lot. Like we've got a big, long development plan for that hub app. So there's some really kind of cool things that are kind of coming in the near future. But then the other things like, our staff on board, like we've a lot of the P&O staff come across, like the entertainment, the fun squad, for example, will be there, which is great. The amount of activities that we have. One of the things we're known for in the Carnival brand is having, over 45 activities every day, right? And those types of activities and that entertainment plan will roll through as well. When you get on board, you'll see some little things have changed, like Blue Room, for example, will become the piano bar. So just a little bit of a name change there, but a lot of the same things that the guests are familiar with are going to remain in play. So you'll get on board, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is a sense of familiarity, however, operated by Carnival, and that's what we're trying to keep. We're trying to keep this really nice kind of, because P&O's done a great job over the years as well of some great products and some great offerings that they offer. And then the Carnival product, and kind of tying the 2 in together to make this beautiful symbiotic kind of experience. And then what then you'll kind of see is what I'm really excited about. You'll kind of see a little bit of a difference. You'll have Carnival Encounter and Carnival Adventure, and then you have Carnival Splendor, which are a little bit different, right? And then you've got Carnival Luminosa, which again is no water slide, so a little bit greater for those kind of couples or those people that want to come on board and experience that aspect of Carnival. So very, very different kind of products across, basically a holiday match for the holiday year after. That's what I'm most excited about. Yeah.
So a lot of people are asking us about the VIFP, very important fun person loyalty program. They're worried about their P&O, numbers won't come across to Carnival and they won't be recognised for their loyalty. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. Look, I'm happy to kind of chat about that because, one of the biggest misconceptions at the moment is that P&O has a loyalty program. So the points that were earned on P&O gave you loyalty on Princess. So they didn't have a loyalty program as such on P&O. So the great enhancement to this is those guests are now actually getting a loyalty program that is for the product that they're sailing on, which I'm really excited about. The VIFP program stands for Very Important Fun Person. And you can move through the program right through from first-time cruisers or first-time to Carnival brand all the way up to your diamond guests, which are 200+ sea days. And the benefits kind of increase as you spend more time, which is really, really great. And that's a really great offering that the guests can actually have access to as well. And that kind of leads into things like, if once you get like platinum and diamond, you start activating like priority boarding and priority tender tickets. Free laundry. Yeah.
Laundry. Yes. That's one of the biggest things that clients are talking to us about at the moment is laundry. Free laundry is a massive perk.
It is huge. I know when I choose my travel, I generally try and pick a place that I can wash clothes because I don't have to pack as much. But having on board and particularly when you get on board and you've got all your nice shirts and you open them, the suitcase, they're all crinkled, right? Because I don't know how much I've traveled. I can never get my shirts to say crisp in my suitcase. Just send them off to get ironed. They come back, they're nice and ironed. Great, I love it. So yeah.
So talking about VIP services and luxury, what premium experiences does Carnival offer guests looking at a more upscale cruise? So typically people think that Carnival maybe not so luxury, but luxury is different to everybody. Luxury for me is literally having my bed made and food. Someone else makes my food every day, but it's a great mum holiday. But tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what you'll start to see as well is, you nailed it. Luxury is different for everyone, right? And I think what you've got to remember that sometimes the experience can outweigh the luxury as well. So if you're a luxury customer and you travel with your grandkids, and it's all about them, you really want to pick a holiday like us that's great for families, right? Rather than a luxury holiday as such in the eyes of them, because then the whole family can kind of enjoy themselves together. But what we're starting to see a lot of is this kind of ship and ship concept, and we've got it in very, very big in the US. We've got a program over there called Havana Clubs, basically in the Havana staterooms. So you get access to a private pool, you get access to private bar, you get a little exclusive area where you are as well. So that's starting to see. We've also got a program on new LNG powered ships called Loft 19, which is a great offering. Now, if we bring it a little bit more closer to home in Australia, we've got the really two offerings here in Australia now as we welcome in Carnival Adventure and Carnival Encounter. Carnival Adventure and Carnival Encounter have Byron Beach Club, which I think is an incredible opportunity and something that we haven't had here in Australia before. It's staying, and I just think it's a really great program. If you're in the suites and you're Byron Beach suites, you can then get access to this area, and it's a pool with its own bar. They have entertainment in the evenings. You also have priority area to breakfast at Angelo's in the morning, where you sit on your own little area and you can have breakfast there. Now, if we switch it across to Carnival Splendor and Carnival Luminosa, we have Cloud 9. Now, Cloud 9 spa concept is great concept because that gives you access to the spa. So things like thalassiotherapy pools and thermal beds where you can lie on the beds and they're nice and hot. And the best, one of the greatest experiences of my life is sailing through the Panama Canal on Carnival Breeze, sitting in one of the thermal beds, going through the locks. Unbelievable experience, right? So to have that kind of place away from everyone else where you can kind of have that your own portion of your type of luxury is really nice. And then I suppose there's specialty dining. So that kind of takes you up to the next level as well, right? So, we're keeping the Luke's brand on the two ships. So we've got the Luke's Dining Experience and Luke's Burgers. And then on Carnival Splendor and Luminoso, we've got Fahrenheit 555. Now, I'll tell you something. Did you know why we call it 555?
No.
That's apparently the perfect temperature you sear a steak at. It's much better than like 232 degrees Celsius, I think. So whatever it ends up being.
Well, you know how protective a lot of Australians are about their barbecues. I'm sure the barbecue man in every family loves that.
Yeah, I love it. I love a barbecue, and sometimes my wife will see me and I've just got a piece of steak on my chopping board and nothing else, and she's like, "Mark, that's not a meal." But anyway, I love it. So yeah, it's great.
So that's for the adults. What about the kids? What makes Carnival brand great for families?
Yeah, and I think it really comes down to, a lot of cruise lines say they're family friendly. We're not just family friendly, we're family focused. And that really comes down to, the marketing that we do and to the onboard entertainment that we have for our guests. Our kids clubs can start from 6 months old in a new program we launched called Turtles, okay? And that runs all the way up to the ages of 17. So we have Camp Ocean for the younger kids up to 12. Then we have Circle C, which is our first of our teen program. And then we have Club O2, which is our older teens. And each of those kids, transition through life and want different needs. So we have different opportunities for them as we kind of go. We also have, we do nappy changing as well. So in Kids Club, which is insane. So we give the parents a little phone. It's like an old Nokia 3210 when the aerial disappeared for the older guys.
I've had one of those myself, and I just looked at it and thought, "Did this play Snake?"
Yeah. And we can call them. We can say, "Hey, look, we can call them if the kid's not settled, or if the kid has." And I'll touch on special needs in a sec. But if they have any special needs and they want to kind of find how the child's going, we've got this kind of connection with Kids Club, which is great. And then if the parent can give authority for the youth club staff to do nappy changing, then we will change. Otherwise, we can call them and say, "Hey, look, Code Brown," and they can come and kind of sort it out a little bit. So it gives the family the flexibility. That then flows right through to our entire programming, right? So our programming is designed for families and couples to be able to connect together in a lively way. So we don't have a lot of shows or things that are adults only as such. We are starting to have a couple now, and I'll touch on them in a sec. But all of our music and our main show lounges are all tributes around music, designed for the 2-year-old up to the 92-year-old, right, to have fun and enjoy themselves on board, and understand how the music kind of goes. And we have family-friendly trivia to trivia about certain movies and shows and all those types of things. And all the activities from deck parties, our theming and all that is designed to kind of bring all the families together. And if the kids are having a great time, mum and dad are having a great time, or by all parents, right? Because, it doesn't matter if a lot of people got children, right? And they can have a great time together. And that's what's really important. That's what's in our philosophy anyway for Carnival. Yeah,
I think it's a really good opportunity for multi-gen holidays. We're selling a lot of those where the grandparents are taking their kids and families coming together. And I can, totally recommend Carnival for multi-gen travel because, like you said, it really caters to that 2-year-old right through to the 100-year-old. I mean, we've had 100-year-olds traveling in the last 12 months with Carnival and love it. So, yes, I think you nailed it when it comes to the multi-gen travel and cruises.
Yeah, what's interesting, Belle, so about 28% of all families that are traveling with more than 3 generations, which is like grandparents, parents, and kids. So we've seen this, you nailed it, right? We've seen this great multi-generational holiday because mum and dad can go and do their own thing in the adults only area, or grandparents, and then they can all come together at dinner and they can recount their stories and they can talk about how, what they did. And one of my greatest experiences traveling with one of my colleagues, watching his kids at a dining room table, and all of a sudden his daughter's like ordered a steak, and she's just and the wait staff's cutting the steak up for her, and she's like looking like she's living the best life, and the parents are having their kind of really nice kind of dinner, together, and the kids are looked after, and that's what we kind of crave in this fast environment, right? Is to just all have a really great holiday.
Yeah. Family friendly shore excursions.
Yeah, so we do have a lot of family-friendly shore excursions. The cool thing about the shore excursions, there's so many different ones and different shore, and we're consistently developing new shore excursions. One of the things is, particularly with our South Pacific partnership, is how do we work more with the South Pacific to be able to, share the wealth pretty much and help with that. And that comes down to, all sorts of different things. All of our shore excursions have like an energy rating. So whether if they're strenuous, then I wouldn't be taking the children on that because it might be a bit tough unless you had older children. So we all have that as well. And all of our shore excursions are all commentable as well. So you can get feedback and live reviews as people kind of do them. So some really good kind of tips on those as well for the shore excursions.
Itineraries and destinations. What are the most in-demand itineraries at the moment? Where is hot, and which itineraries do you need to book in advance?
Yeah, look, I think the best thing is always, to book earlier rather than later, because what we do with our pricing structure, we always try and price as cost of as we don't use the word cheap, but the best value in the beginning when we first launch our prices, and then we kind of ramp the pricing up as we get closer. Now, occasionally there are some holes and sailings where you can get some discounted fares a little bit closer, but we're seeing there's such a long lead time at the moment that, our cruises are so well sold at the moment, so you don't want to miss out. You really want to book well in advance. Now, kind of to itineraries, there's some really the hot itineraries at the moment in the Australian market is really Queensland coast. A lot of out of Sydney and Brisbane, a lot of customers are really loving the Queensland coast itineraries. They're great. As is the South Pacific. That's kind of our staple stuff. If you look a little bit closer, like the big sailing and big portion of sailings we're starting to see are these short cruises, so 3 and 4 days. Okay, yeah. So why not, instead of having one big long holiday, why not have 2 or 3 little holidays throughout the year, right? And that's what we're starting to see, this trend, and it's really exciting because people are getting away and they're going, hey, I'm going away, and all of a sudden 3 or 4 and their friends are coming. It's a nice big group. And then all of a sudden you see them on board and they've got this crazy T-shirt with someone's faces on them and seeing all these guys.
We've done that. Yeah. We are those people too.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's really cool. And so those kind of short cruises. And we've got a couple of things that are really hot at the moment. We've got a couple of, particularly up in Asia. So we've got some cruises because of dry docks. We've got some, because that's where we do our dry docks up in Singapore. We've got some great itineraries. We've got Carnival Luminosa next year coming back through Japan, and then going from doing Japan to Singapore, and then doing a dry dock, and then Singapore back to Brisbane. We've got Carnival Adventure going up to dry dock next year. I think it's February, and it's doing up to Singapore from Sydney, and then it's doing a Singapore to Singapore round trip, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, that's very different for you guys.
Unique, different, and really good to kind of see. And then it comes back to Melbourne, but it comes back to Melbourne via the West Coast, which is really cool. So yeah, so that's awesome. And then we've got Carnival Encounter doing a dry dock as well. So we've got a couple of awesome, unique Asian itineraries. And then further aboard into the US, we've got so much product in the US. So if the guests have done, South Pacific before and they want to do something a little bit different, Caribbean is unbelievable. I love it. I just recently went out of Galveston. Like, not many people have heard of the port of Galveston, right? They're like, where is Galveston?
Galveston there's a port in Texas. When we recommend, customers to go and see Texas, and why not add on a cruise out of Galveston? They have no idea that there is a cruise port there.
And I've done East Coast, West Coast, and Texas cruising. Texas cruising is the best cruising you can do. It's a 45-minute drive from Houston. You're in the heart of the Caribbean. From Sydney, you can do direct flights into Houston. So it's not even a changeover, or you can go via New Zealand with Air New Zealand or United. Some great options to be able to get in there. And the Texans they're like Aussies. They're so much fun to cruise with. They're great fun.
They are so much fun. Yeah, they know how to party.
They do. And they're fun as well, right? That's the most important thing. So.
Yes. So what's the best way for travelers to get a really great deal on a Carnival cruise?
Look, I think the best way is always, again, like I said, book early and make sure you pop in and see yourself or travel agent right there. They've got some really great deals as well. So that's the key thing. Keep an eye on your VIFP program. If you are if you haven't cruised with Carnival before, just check, because we do have like some really good VIFP deals that are for the guests. So make sure they and your travel agent will be able to find those for you as well, which is great. So, yeah, that's probably the best way to come look for the best deals.
And a lot of customers are asking us with Carnival, Pinot coming over to Carnival, things like drink packages, Wi-Fi, tipping, are they going to mirror what was previously with P&O, or are they changing over to the Carnival brand as well?
Yeah, so everything's coming into what we call our Carnival ecosystem. So whatever was booked is coming across into our system, and then moving forward, it's our drinks packages, it's our kind of opportunities. In the Australian market, we don't have gratuities, or we're in Australian dollars. That remains. In the US, it's a bit different, or Europe, you're then paying gratuities in US dollars, but here in Australia, you're not still paying AUD. So those things are all very similar, and what you see in Carnival is what you see moving forward, is the best way to kind of phrase that one.
Okay. And discount for groups. I know you touched on groups and multi-gen. Discounts for military personnel, loyalty program members, etc. Are they still going to remain the same for the Carnival brand?
Yeah, so under the Carnival discounts we have, so we have some great deals there for the military there as well. And groups we have a very, very good groups program. So groups basically, particularly if you're a large family group and you're going away, the group is generally about it's generally about 8 staterooms. That's generally what kind of triggers a kind of a group. And the good thing about it is that you can actually lock the pricing, and then you can go off to your family and go, hey, who's in, right? And then if you need to, you can add more cabins. Or the better thing is for your travel agent to take more and then just drop some off if you don't need them. So you can hold up to, anything up to 52 cabins you can hold for a portion while you kind of get your group organised. And then there's some really good perks. We can do like cocktail parties. We can bump up onboard credits. We can do all sorts of great things that are exclusive to your group. But it's a really good way to kind of travel. And we've seen a huge group, any sporting groups or environmental groups or social groups or anything like that. There's some really kind of good groups out there that are having a great time on board. We're a bird watching group at the moment. Like, that's so cool. So yeah.
Yes, I've seen those cruises with quilting and scrapbooking and all those kinds of things, solo groups and stuff like that. We love groups. They're very easy to put together, and Carnival in particular are really good and easy to use. Now, a lot of families are talking about health and safety protocols post-COVID.
Yeah. So, look, the biggest, COVID was a pretty rough time for a lot of our people listening today, right? For us, it was pretty hard as well. We spent a long time developing health and safety. But what's really important is that we had a lot of these processes and protocols we had in place pre-COVID anyway, and we built on them, right? Like all good businesses, we built the fundamentals and made things safer and different. One of the things that we get a lot of questions is, particularly with medical services on board. So if you take Carnival Splendor, for example, 3,200 odd people plus crew, right? You're looking at about 4,000 people. We're pretty much the size of a big regional city. So we've got nurses and doctors on board. We've got critical care measures we can kind of do to be able to help with a lot of this stuff, which is pretty cool, pretty important. And then we if is there an emergency or an evacuation or something like that, we've got the means to be able to move the guests to provide the best care for them, right? But that's what we want at the end of the day, the best care for our guests.
That's why travel insurance is so important.
I would never go anywhere without travel insurance. I don't even say any more on that. I get cranky at my parents if they go on a road trip without their travel insurance. So you've got to have it right. Sorry, but yeah.
I'm exactly the same. Don't worry, Ma.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll end with a few different things, which is just going to be sustainability efforts. A lot of people are becoming conscious of their footprint when they travel. What sustainability efforts is Carnival implementing to reduce their environmental impact?
Yeah, of course. And I think this is the thing that we're talking a lot about at the moment. I think we've always kind of thought about it in the back of our heads, but we need to be better. We all need to be better. And I think sustainability doesn't just come down to one thing, which is climate change. It comes to this well-rounded kind of opportunity to be able to make your business better in the long run. So we've got kind of like 6 pillars that we call in our sustainability kind of clause. One is climate action. Okay, so that's really important, right? We live and we breathe the oceans. Like, this is our love, and our life is the ocean. So how do we treat them better? How do we reduce emissions as much as possible? we've set our sustainability plan is a 2023 with aspirations to 2030 to aspirations to 2050. And one of those big things was with getting our ships to at least 60% shoreside power. So then we don't have to use the engines to, when we're in ports, we can then plug into shoreside. Our 60% goal of 2030 we achieved last year. So we've got, and that comes down to infrastructure. We've got to provide ports with infrastructure and money to be able to, help us achieve these goals as well.
Yeah.
So that's very important. Our circular economy is really important as well. So that's like, how do we reduce, plastics and all those types of things, single-use plastics and all those opportunities. How do we achieve 100% cage-free eggs, for example, right? So these are things that we're working on. And our goal is to achieve 100% cage-free eggs by this year. Now, that's not something we can just do. We need to make sure the farmers have the right equipment and the right suppliers we have in the different markets can kind of meet our needs, because we go through, I don't know if you think how many eggs we go through in the course of the year.
Yeah, imagine the amount of eggs you guys go through. It would just be phenomenal in a day.
And then we go into sustainable tourism. So how do we be better in the ports we go to? So when we go to ports, how do we, with our Pacific Partnership, how do we grow the countries that we go into? That is a really important part of our role. And we've got some pretty big goals around that. And then, then internally we've got our good health and well-being goals, because if our staff are all healthy and they're happy and the crew on board are happy, which is really, really important, they deliver a better product. They abide by the rules better, and they're more forward in kind of helping us get to these goals. So developing global health well-being partnerships and programs which we've done and we've now achieved as of last year, which is really cool. Biodiversity and conservation is our big one. That's obviously a good one as well. So again, it comes down to treating the oceans and everything with a huge amount of respect. And the final one is DEI as well. So diversity, inclusion, and equality. So that is really important, right? Because we actually don't have a female captain at the moment. So we're having conversations. How do we're building people, we're building officers to get to these levels, right? And that is really important. And it doesn't just happen overnight. It's plans and processes in place to be able to get us to where we want to get to. We employ people from over 150 different countries around the world. So there's different. We have a wide variety of every continent that you can live on except Antarctica. We have staff from, right, all with different cultural backgrounds and different opportunities, and being able to promote them within and having the right leaders in the right positions is really important. So it's kind of like this, as I mentioned, it's this full, well-rounded kind of process that we're looking at, which I'm really excited about. Yeah.
Some really great things there. It really sounds like you guys are working on sustainability and not just one specific thing. A lot of other suppliers are focusing on one specific problem within that. And I love that you guys are looking at the whole ecosystem and not just focusing on one thing. But LNG, obviously, shore power is very exciting.
Yeah, so actually, I didn't touch on LNG, but our LNG is our new ships, right? So all of our ships we're building now are LNG, right? So, which is pretty cool. So, yeah.
That is, which lends us to the last part of our chat today. Let's talk about future plans. So we've talked about Australia and what's happening with the two ships. What new experiences or ships is Carnival launching in the next few years? Is there anything?
Yeah, definitely. So we've got a lot of kind of things happening at the moment, particularly around that. Obviously, Australia, we've discussed the Australia piece. That's a big piece as well. But then moving a little bit further abroad, we've got two more LNG powered ships, which are 180,000 ton. They're the ones with the roller coaster on. Two more of them joining the fleet, which will take our LNG ship count up to 5. And then what we're working on now is we're working on what we call Project Ace Class. Now, the class of ship hasn't been named yet, so we're kind of just using this word Project Ace. But where we've got 3 new ships on order, and they're going to be our biggest ever ship we've ever bought. I'm talking like 280,000 ton size.
Wow.
In the LNG space as well, and a lot of kind of really kind of unique opportunities coming about that. And it kind of takes us all the way up into kind of 2033, roughly 2034ish. As because you got to put order, and it takes a while to order, and all these. And the great thing about that is, as newer ships start to become more opportunities for ships to be deployed elsewhere as well. So growing our market, which is really exciting. Then in July of this year, we open up Celebration Key, which is our private island. Well, it's our private area on our island on Grand Bahama East. And basically, we've got the largest freshwater lagoon in the Caribbean. And we'll be able to dock 2 LNG-powered ships, which are our biggest ones at the moment, and the new Ace class will be able to go there. That opens in July, which is really exciting. And that's phase 1. There's a few different phases that are planned for that island, which is really great to see. It's got a big sand castle in the middle, huge big water slide. It's got 5 portals with adults only areas and shopping and kids and dining, all these kind of areas that you can go and explore on a day trip as you come in. And then the final thing is we work very closely with Half Moon Key as well, so which is a Holland America have had for a long time, and we've put our own pier in as well now, so we can now deliver a carnival experience there as well. So when like Holland America bump out, Carnival can bump in, and we can deliver a great kind of carnival experience like a private beach club, which is awesome. And then who knows what's next? Yeah, love to see.
That all sounds so much fun. I mean, you know, as a cruiser myself, I love private islands because it's just that little bit of extra that goes in there. It'd be nice if Carnival did one in the South Pacific.
Yeah, I know. I think I don't know. I don't know how viable that is, but anyway, we'll look at any opportunities, obviously, and things like that. So, which is cool. We do kind of have in Australia. We do kind of have our own private island as such. It is called Moreton Island or Tangalooma Island Resort. It's not ours, but we are the cruise line that goes to it. And if you are after that kind of experience, it is a great option because you pull in, you can use all the resort facilities, the swimming pool. There's a great bar there. And it's supporting a local Queensland family-owned and run business as well, which is really cool, right? So that's what's great about that port.
These are new ships that are coming. You know, obviously everyone is improving their technology across the board when it comes to cruises, and everyone wants the new trends and stuff like that when it comes to tech on board. Is there anything new going into the new ships that's going to be a little bit different as far as technology goes?
Yeah, I mean, with we don't have a lot of details yet on the Project Ace class as such, but we're doing a lot of kind of development. Like we introduced the world's first roller coaster at sea, which was on Mardi Gras, Carnival Mardi Gras, and that's gone through all the LNG powered ships. We've got breweries on board on all of our Vista class and all of our. Actually, I've got my little glass here from Carnival Brews, which is one of our little drinks, one of our breweries that we have, and we brew our own beer on board the ship while we're sailing. So it's pretty cool. We desalinate the water. We use the water to make the beer and the salt from the desalination to power the air conditioning. So a lot of kind of cool things that kind of come about with this. But yeah, and then we've also got things like bubble technology, which is the new hull design that we're doing, and it actually fires out little bubbles, and the ship sits on this kind of bubble air pocket that makes it glide a lot better and use less fuel. So there's a lot of kind of cool things and innovations that are kind of happening. And then food and dining, we're always innovating food and dining. We just brought in, we bring in new restaurants and opportunities and new partnerships with new celebrity chefs and all those types of things, which is really kind of cool to kind of do. That's more guest facing. Yeah.
That all sounds amazing. And lastly, what trends do you see shaping the future of cruising with Carnival?
Yeah, I think we touched on a little bit before about the multi-generational family. I think that is probably the biggest thing. We're also seeing this age of the cruiser coming down. So the average age across cruising is 46 now. On Carnival, it's 43. So we've actually got a younger market that's coming. So it's just, you know, this millennial and Gen X is starting to embrace cruising a lot more. They're seeing the value that they're getting their meals, their entertainment, their accommodation. You know, all they really have to do is, you know, come on board and have some fun. And they're seeing it as they've grown up. Like, I'm a millennial. I grew up with my, you know, traveling, and accessibility to travel was just so easy that I want to continue that with my family. Right? So I think we're starting to see this big trend of a multi-generational coming up. And then, like I said, these short holidays, like lots of little short breaks throughout the year. I know that if I don't have a holiday booked, I've got a holiday fund. My percentage of my wage goes into a holiday fund. That is non-negotiable with my wife and and that's what I use for holidays. And I know that if I don't have a holiday booked, I get a bit kind of, where am I going? What am I doing? You know, so it's really important to kind of have those things locked in. Makes me feel so much
and Mark, we are seeing that trend with our customers as well. They need to have something to look forward to. They need to have something to work towards. So we are definitely seeing those people, instead of spending one big long holiday every year, they're doing, 2 or 3 shorter holidays.
Yeah, 100%. So
beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for your time. We are so excited for the new ships to come across to the Carnival brand. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Belle. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk to your wonderful audience. It's always great. We get so much great advice and tips and tricks from your audiences as well. So thank you. We always take it on board. So thank you very much. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.